morning, good morning, good morning. Now, I'm talking to you, seasoned disruptors. Tech is evolving faster than a menopausal mood swing, and we all know what those are about. So, the big question of the day is how do you jump in? So, fasten your seatbelt, stick with me, and I'm going to share some tasks with you that you should be looking at to jump in and stay on top of things. Now, I want to kind of liken this to a daily routine, and you need daily routines, you need weekly routines, and you need monthly routines. But today we're just going to talk about the daily stuff because, like your exercise class with your warm-ups and your lycra, you don't need to wear that outfit, but you do need to kind of keep the thought process up that if you're going to work out, you need to work out in your business too and create a daily routine. So I want to talk to you about what that means, what it's all about, and some things that you can be doing to jump in. Now, we have what's called a visibility paradox. And the algorithms are judging you faster than a hot flash that hits at 3:07 a.m. And if you've had them, you know that it's that magic 3 o'clock. It gets you every time. So the tech decides who gets seen, but it's your wisdom that really lights the fire. So what we have to figure out is how do we light the fire? How do we get seen? Because this is all about visibility and being relevant. And there's this big deal about reinvention. And I don't like this idea about reinventing yourself. What I like to talk about is reimagining yourself, because you've got all the tools, you've got everything there that you need to draw on. All you have to do is just change the perspective a little bit, because you're not outdated. Frankly, you may indeed be overqualified for some of this digital nonsense, and you don't need to do a dance on TikTok because well, frankly, you're bigger and better than that. So let's talk about this AI literacy for a minute. And I will tell you that in order to be AI literate, and frankly, everybody should be, but if you want to stay in the game and you want to become a seasoned disruptor, you've got to learn all the tips and tricks that AI can present you. And you have to commit to being a forever student. And sometimes I feel like the learning curve's so steep, I'm getting a nosebleed all the time. But you also have to not have this fear of missing out and do everything. You gotta choose the right tools. You gotta think about the right things in this AI world that you want to master so that you can stand out and be visible. Because AI is learning faster than my hormones shift from Zen to zombie. And it really is amazing how quickly things are changing. So the big issue comes down to how confident you are. And we have this idea about this confidence conundrum. And are you confident enough to make it all happen? And I mean, you've survived kids, you've survived you've survived chaos, and this idea about content creation, we need to think about it and not get angry with it. You need to think about it as a daily task. And your content needs to connect with your audience because it's all about communicating with your ideal customer. And first and foremost, if you don't know who that ideal customer is, if you don't know what their interests are, which I spoke about last week because that's what the algorithm is all about, is it's relating to the interests of your audience. So we can blame a whole bunch of things like, our Wi-Fi's off and nobody's reading our content. And if no one's reading your content, then you're not connecting. You don't have an audience following. So first and foremost, you need to know who your ideal customer is. And when you know that, it is amazing how you can jump into the content creation and create captivating and compelling content that gets engagement. Because that's really what the algorithms want, is you've got to get eyeballs on your content. And if you're not, then you've got a problem. And if you need some help thinking about what that problem is or defining what that problem is, I've got an assessment that can help you do that. I'll help you find out where your fumbles are, where the hiccups are. And then, of course, there's this idea about being relevant. And there is this notion that when women of a certain age, reach that certain age, that we should be put out to pasture because we're not relevant anymore. But relevance isn't an age, it's a decision. And it's one decision away from shaking up the internet. So first and foremost, you need to decide, are you relevant? Is the products and services, or are the products and services you bring to the table, are they relevant? And then how you connect that relevance with your ideal audience and specifically your ideal customer, because you ain't past your prime. Now, the whole idea is this is all about being creative. And creativity isn't something like everyone believes the only way you can be creative is if you're born with it. And quite frankly, that's not the issue here, because I believe everybody is creative. You just have to figure out where you're going to focus, where you're going to put that creativity. How are you going to present your products and services? How do you stand out from the crowd? What makes you different? And why people need to trust you, because trust is a big, big deal in this world that we're in right now. So much what's called schlock or slop is being put together by artificial intelligence. And when we can start connecting with people in our humanism, then that's when people start to reach out and say, hey, that person's thinking on the same kind of path that I am. So your imagination isn't midlife, it's mid-eruption, and it's just getting ready to blast out. And that's one of the things that I think is so exciting about being a seasoned disruptor. Now, one of the core truths here is, and it's the plot twist that the digital world hasn't really seen coming, is that seasoned disruptors don't get outdated, they get dangerous. And deliciously, delightfully dangerous. And that's my wish for you. And I'm putting together a whole series of different programs that can get seasoned disruptors on track and on a path to break out and frankly floor the heck out of people who think that they're just operating on outdated software, because we're not. And I think that this is incredibly exciting and a really exciting time. But again, you've got to be prepared to be a forever student. And, uh, and to that end, we need to talk about this. What are you going to do on a daily basis to actually increase your visibility? Because the idea is that you got to quit waiting for permission, because your someday is now. And stepping into this world of artificial intelligence, learning how to craft content differently, because it's completely changed. The algorithms are judging your content in a much different fashion than they have ever done before. And the bottom line is, the basis of it, no matter what platform you're on, the basis of it is, do you connect with your ideal customer? Do you attract eyeballs that stick and stay in your content? Do you have the ability to engage with them? Because that's what all the platforms are looking for. So, task number 1 on your daily tasks is you need to set your intention every day. So your intention is, what do you want to accomplish today? And today needs to be just a building block for the big kahuna. What's your objective? What are you trying to accomplish? Who are you trying to help? Who are you trying to make a difference in somebody else's life? Who is that person or persons? So you need to set your intention, and you need to do it daily. Then the other thing that you need to do daily is you need to talk to people, because people are who your audience is. So I saw a story the other day about a guy who just said he spent a couple of hours every single day going on to people's social media and commenting. And he did that for a couple of hours every day for about 6 months, I think he said. And in those 6 months, he got connected with a lot of the big mucky mucks in our marketing world. And that led to him being invited to all of these artificial intelligence conferences. And he got there for free. He got free tickets. And the person interviewing him said, I paid $30,000 to be here, and you got a free ticket? He said, well, yeah, I know the guy who's put it on, and I know the guy who's the lead speaker on stage. And he said, I just did it by talking to people. And it's got to be more than, hi, how are you? So I've talked about, stop the hollow questions, the hi, how are you? Who cares? And the answer you get back is often, well, I'm fine. And that's neither a deep discussion, a solid conversation, or engaging your audience. Now, then you need to ask for the opportunity. Now, this begs the question, what is your opportunity? And you never, ever, ever want to lead with this. You want to get involved. You want to ask questions. You want to get people interested in you, and you should also be listening so that you can get interested in them. And this is an interesting proposition. And for those of you that kind of try to figure out, how the hell can I do this? I have no idea. Send me a DM and I'll introduce you to an incredible tool that allows you to connect with people through social media and begin a conversation that leads to finding out what their problem is, so that you know how to present your solution. And it is just an awesome tool to use. And frankly, that's what this is all about, is that if you're still doing things the way you've always done them before, you can't do that. If you want to stay on the leading edge, you've got to be able to incorporate a number of these tools. So what we've talked about daily. What we're going to do is you need to set your intention. You need to talk to people. You need to ask for the opportunity. And then maybe there's no click. Maybe it doesn't work. But you ask for a referral and say, well, if this isn't going to work for you, do you know anybody that this might be right for? And you've now also learned enough about this person that you can refer them. So what this is all about is networking. So ask for a referral and get a referral. So refer and get referrals. And lots of people don't do this enough because it's all about, the audience that you're in or the network that you're in could potentially use this person that you've just met and the products and services that they are offering. Your audience could potentially use. So this is an awesome tool to use. And I have had wonderful opportunities with this. And now, what you want to do is also on a daily basis is you want to share a personal story or a moment. So in other words, this is about crafting content. And the more that you can create moments, those special moments, and as I said last week, you want to, in your content, you want to educate, entertain, or empathize. And I just recently, Facebook just said I was awarded because my content is engaging and I started lots of conversations. And Facebook awards you or rewards you, but all the platforms, the more eyeballs that you can get on the content that you're creating, on the platforms that you are participating in, the more your reach is going to improve. So this is all about those new rules of reach. Is your audience interested? Do they engage? Do they stay? And do they maybe play? And the most valuable content that I have created are the ones that give people a giggle. And it always surprises me when I see my reach go through the roof when I've given them a giggle. So it is kind of like a little gift when you get somebody to laugh. So you need to show up like you want to be seen so that you can earn that spot in your buyer's brain. And that spot in their brain is a pretty amazing piece of real estate to own because you need apparently 7 different points of contact before your customer kind of connects that they are aware that they have a problem and they're aware that maybe you can solve their problem. So and that's about earning that spot, that real estate in their brain. So you may ask, well, like, how do I set these tasks up? How do I do that? So I want to share with you this little piece on ChatGPT. Now, a lot of people aren't aware of it, but I'm going to just show you on my screen here that it says, what's on the agenda today. Now, if you go down to the very bottom of your ChatGPT on the bottom left-hand side, and it says right here, Darcy Bazell Plus, and that's because I pay the enormous sum of $20 a month for my ChatGPT. And you should be paying for it too because you're into a bunch of features that may not necessarily be available in the free version. So if I click on my name and I click on the plus sign, I get, I go into settings, I believe. Let me just see. Yeah, That's exactly what it is. And I click on schedules. And ChatGPT will set up a whole bunch of tasks for me. So when we go back to, let me just stop here for a minute. When we go back to how do I keep these tasks going on a regular basis, I need to set my intention, which is maybe slightly different every day, but it's all a building block towards your end goal. So you want to set your intention. You want to talk to people. You want to ask for the opportunity. You want to either refer and get referrals. And you want to share a personal moment or a story, in other words, content. So what you want to do is, well, how do I do that? And how do I kind of remind myself to do that? So as I got you set up on ChatGPT, I had you go into your settings, and let me show you what happens from there. Then you click on Manage, and what you want to do is schedule. Now I've said I want to write one witty post every day. And I want to engage with 15 ideal buyers. So in other words, this is talk to people. And I want to message those buyers, so I keep them in my loop. And this is the piece of wonderful tool that I'd be delighted to share with you. If you're interested, you can get in touch with me. And I create content planning sprint. So I create a theme every week, and then I kind of bulk create the content I'm going to go with. And it says, hydrate regularly. And what happens with this schedule is once I've put that all together, then I get an email from I didn't show that to you. Sorry. Let me just try that again. So this is what I get, is that it's scheduled to write one witty post, engage with 15 people, and then you got to message those people back. You don't it's not one and done. You're creating a conversation. You're creating that know, like, and trust relationship or connection. And I weekly batch what my content might be for that week. And then, of course, drink enough water and stay hydrated regularly. So each of these are sent to me through email, and I get a message that says, okay, have you contacted 15 people? Have you messaged them back? Where do they sit in this little program? It tells me who I can move forward, who has expressed interest, who's given me a referral, and have I connected with those referrals? So it's just like going to the gym or to those exercise classes that you used to go to on a regular basis, but you don't have to wear the lycra suit or those warm-up socks or even the headband that went along with it. So this is creating habits, and habits take, so I'm told, 21 days to actually sink in. So you've got to practice your habits and get them happening. Now, stay tuned with me next week, and I'll talk to you about what you should be doing on a regular weekly basis, because then there's a little bit more you need to add into your tasks. And then ultimately what you need to be doing on a monthly basis. But just think about this. If you think about nothing else, 15 people a day, or if you think that that's too many, maybe just think about 5 people a day and how many people you're going to be connected with by the end of the month. I mean, it really is a remarkable proposition, and all it takes is consistency. So, I'm Darcy from Sticky Bee, and it's the place to be because I help you get sticky, and that means people want to be around you. I help you get your audience stuck, and I help you get them to stay, like bees to honey. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to send me a DM. And if you're real curious about this tool on how to connect with people through social media, let me know, because it's an awesome, awesome little connection tool. Bye for now.